Armenia is historically a close ally of Russia, but it has boosted ties with the West in the wake of the Kremlin's war on Ukraine. And this Friday, a trilateral meeting taking place between the former Soviet Republic, the United States, and the European Union. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen hosting Armenian Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan, as well as U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken. Here's von der Leyen speaking earlier.
Also welcome the measures that Armenia has taken against the circumvention of our sanctions against Russia, in particular to make sure that lethal equipment and technologies do not end up in the hands of Russian military. This shows that the European Union and Armenia are increasingly aligned in values and interests.
Well, let's speak to our guest, Roland Freudenstein, Office Director of the Free Russia Foundation, an international organization supporting democracy in Russia. He's also the founder of the Brussels Freedom Hub. Hello to you, Roland. Thank you for speaking to France 24. First of all, the EU had to clarify what would be discussed this Friday. They said it was economic resilience. What does that mean?
Well. There's been quite a stir that was caused by this meeting today in the region and, of course, in the European Union itself. To put it shortly, I think the Commission and President von der Leyen went out of their ways to emphasize precisely that we're mainly discussing economic issues, energy security, economic growth, economic resilience, which will enhance regional stability and security. But we're not discussing military questions or questions of the direct relationship or recent conflict between Armenia and Azerbaijan.
And do you think that's a right position, that the EU should keep sort of neutral on that issue?
Oh, Holly. Well, the point is that there are other actors in the European Union that have been extremely involved in actually improving relations between the two Caucasus countries, Armenia and Azerbaijan, such as Council President Charles Michel or Josep Borrell, the High Representative for Foreign Policy. So this is also an intra-Brussels jostling for who does what. And I think Ursula von der Leyen did the right thing in emphasizing that, look, where the Commission is responsible, which is all dimensions of economic cooperation, yes, the Commission will get active. And that's what's happening today.
So what does Armenia's prime minister hope to get from these talks?
For him, I mean, the photos themselves already count with Ursula von der Leyen and Antony Blinken, and I think he is interested in a major pivot of Armenia, which has been relying, especially for its security, on Russia vis-a-vis Azerbaijan in the past, and I think that Armenia has shown signs over the last years. And especially since the full-scale Russian invasion against Ukraine, that they want to loosen their relationship and their dependence on Russia and get closer to the West. Now, immediately, what we've seen this morning is that Ursula von der Leyen had to make a phone call to Ilham Aliyev of Azerbaijan to calm down some of the criticism that came from there. So what we're talking about is a balancing act on the EU side and the West's side in general, whereas Armenia is definitely trying to demonstrate that it wants to get closer to the West, and an important part of the West is the European Union.
Yeah, and it does have that photograph to take home with it. But at the same time, doesn't this leave Armenia in a tight spot in its own region?
Well, that's what the Armenians are saying, because, the Western leaders are quite clearly making the point that you can't be a member of two free trade areas at the same time. You can't be a member of two opposing alliances at the same time, meaning the Collective Security Treaty Organization, of which Armenia is now a part, which is led by Russia, and at the same time to actually, for example, become one day a candidate for EU membership would require that Armenia leaves those organizations. Now the Armenians are saying, well, we're kind of decreasing our involvement in these organizations, but we don't want to step out because we don't want to be in a complete vacuum. So that's a bit the dilemma on the Armenian side, but I think it's in the end it is completely logical that the EU and the United States stick to their guns, if I may say so, and insist on clarity in this question. And yes, Armenia is in a tight spot, but I think the West is doing what it can to improve regional stability there.
Very difficult to untangle, but Roland, thank you for explaining it to us today. Roland Freudenstein speaking to us there. Thank you.